And getting in the boat, Jesus went back to the other side. And again, he was met by a huge crowd, and he was by the sea. A leader of the synagogue, Jairus by name, seeing him, comes, falling before him, and pleads with him urgently, saying, "My little daughter, she's at the point of death. Come, lay hands on her so that she might be restored and live." And Jesus went with him. And the whole crowd was following him, pressing him. Now there was a woman having endured a flow of blood for 12 years, having suffered many things under many physicians, indeed, having spent everything she had, but not having benefited anything at all. Hearing about Jesus, coming up behind him in the crowd, she touched his cloak, because she'd been saying to herself, if I just touch his cloak, I'll be restored. And the source of the bleeding dried up within her, and she knew in her body that she had been healed. Jesus knew within himself that power had gone out of him. So he turned around the crowd and said, "Now who touched my clothes?" And the disciple said, "You see the crowd pressing you, and you ask who touched you?" But Jesus kept looking to see who had done it. And the woman, knowing what had happened to her, trembling and afraid, fell down before him and told him the whole truth. Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your courageous trust has saved you. Go off and be free of your affliction." Now, while he says this, some people come from the house of the leader of the synagogue saying, "Your daughter, she's died. Why trouble this teacher any longer?" But Jesus, overhearing it, said to him, "Don't be afraid. Trust courageously." And he wouldn't let anyone go with him except for Rock and James and John. And they come to the house of the leader of the synagogue, and they see a great commotion, lots of weeping and wailing. And entering into the house, he says, "Why the commotion, the weeping and wailing? The child's not dead. She's sleeping." And they taunted him. And driving them out, he took with him only the father of the little girl and her mother and those who were with him. And he went to the place where she lay, and taking her hand, he said to her, "Talitha kum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, rise." And she rose. She started walking around. She was 12 years old. And they were stunned with great astonishment. Oh, and Jesus told them not to tell anyone and to give the girl something to eat.